पूज्याय राघवेन्द्राय सत्यधर्मरथाय च भजतां कल्पवृक्षाय नमतां कामधेनु. A warm welcome to all of you to Shri Raghavendra Swamy Prarthana Mandir, Melbourne, branch of the revered Shri Raghavendra Swamy Mata in Mantralayam. Guru Raghavendra Swamiji's devotees are present all over the world, and our Kalpavruksha Kamadhenu, Mantralaya Guru Sarvabhauma Shri Raghavendra Swamy comes to bless his devotees wherever they are. With the blessings of Pujya Shri Subodhendra Tirtha Swamiji, we were delighted and blessed to welcome Guru Raghavendra Swamiji from Mantralaya to Melbourne in February 2019 and to be the first branch of Mantralaya Matha in Australia. We conduct daily puja of the Charavrindavana and Paduka and conduct weekly Samuhika Guru Vandana online for all devotees to participate and offer prayers to our dear Guru Rayar. Devotees have welcomed the Rayar Paduka and Prahlada Raja to their homes to seek the Guru's blessings. We celebrate all major festivals and Aradhana events of the visionary saints by offering our seva to the Lord through various religious and cultural programs, inviting both international and local artists to perform, like our recent 8 days Aradhana 2020 Mahotsava, featuring leading artists like Shri Vidyabhushan Ji, Shri Puttur Narasimha Nayak Ji, Shri Mysore Ramchandra Acharya Ji, amongst others. We are delighted to present our current Navaratri 2020 program, celebrating the rich heritage and culture of our Matrubhumi, Bharat. We hope you all join and participate in this program. Om Shri Raghavendraya Namaha. Shri Raghavendra Swamy Prarthana Mandir proudly presents Shri Dushyant Sridhar. Namaskara. A very warm welcome to all of you on behalf of Shri Raghavendra Swamy Prarthana Mandira, and wishing you all a very, very happy Navaratri celebrations. As you're all aware, Navaratri in India is celebrated in all parts of the country. Different states have different ways of celebrating. But wherever you go in India at that point in time, it is all about embracing our culture and it is all about immersing into our culture. It is our attempt in this Navaratri from Shri Raghavendra Swamy Prarthana Mandir to bring various aspects of our culture and present it to you. Yesterday, we started with a fantastic Haridasa program from Shri Anant Kulkarni ji. Today, we have another celebrated Vedic scholar, Shri Dushyant Sridhar, joining us from Bengaluru. Dushyant Sridhar is one of the most sought-after public speakers in the Sanatana Dharma and has rendered discourses in English and Tamil. He has rendered over 3,000 discourses in 125 cities and 23 countries and enjoys a wide spectrum of audience and followers on YouTube with over 70,000 subscribers and 15 million views. In my opinion, I would like to call him as a spiritual entrepreneur. And what I mean by that is, he has interest in a wide area of wide areas, but all of them only to spread and grow the understanding of Sanatan Dharma. For example, he owns a Vedic e-portal site called as Abhinava e-Pathshala that provides courses for learners. He has acted in a movie called as Vedanta Desika as a protagonist, for which he has also written the story and the dialogues. And he has also authored a coffee table book on the same name. He organizes heritage tours and conceptualizes dance productions. He manages Desika Daya, a charitable trust which sponsors cultural activities. He is a recipient of coveted titles like Sarvakala Chudamani and Harikatha Bharati. And here is the best part for all of us young engineers. He is a BITS Pilani alumni and is also recognized as a 30 under 30 by the BITS Pilani Association. What a multifaceted and multi-talented personality. Without further ado, let me now welcome Shri Dushyant Sridhar ji.
Namaste.
Namaskara, Dushyant ji. Namaste. Over to you, Dushyant ji.
Sure. रामानुजदयापात्रं ज्ञानवैराग्यभूषणं श्रीमद्वेङ्कटनाथार्यं वन्दे वेदान्तदेशिकं लक्ष्मीनाथसमारम्भां नाथयामुनमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां यो नित्यम् अच्युतपदाम्बुजयुग्मरुक्मव्यामोहतस्तदितराणि तृणाय मेने अस्मद्गुरोर्भगवतोऽस्य दयैकसिन्धोः रामानुजस्य चरणौ शरणं प्रपद्ये माता पिता युवतयस्तनया विभूतिः सर्वं यदेव नियमेन मदन्वयानाम् आद्यस्य नः कुलपते वकुलाभिरामं श्रीमत्तदङ्घ्रियुगलं प्रणमामि मूर्ध्ना भूतं सरश्च महदाह्वय भट्टनाथ श्रीभक्तिसार कुलशेखर योगिवाहान् भक्ताङ्घ्रिरेणु परकाल यतीन्द्रमिश्रान् श्रीमत्पराङ्कुशमुनिं प्रणतोऽस्मि नित्यम् उल्लास पल्लवित पालित सप्तलोकी निर्वाह कोरकित नेम कटाक्ष लीलां श्रीरंग हर्म्यतल मंगल दीपरेखां श्रीरंगराज महिषीं श्रियम् आश्रयामः आकार त्रय संपन्नाम् अरविंद निवासिनीं अशेष जगदीशीत्रीं वंदे वरदवल्लभाम्. Namaskaram to the devotees and my dear friends who have gathered in different corners of the world to listen to this lecture. My obeisances to the Prakritam Acharya of Shri Raghavendra Swamy Matham. My humble regards to the committee members and volunteers of Shri Raghavendra Swamy Prarthana Mandir in Melbourne. This is an auspicious occasion for us. Auspicious not only because this is a period of Navaratri, but this beautiful period is sandwiched between some of the events in the world experienced by humanity and all nations that we weren't prepared for. So I'm hopeful that the blessings of Shri Mahalaxmi, the universal mother, divine mother, her grace will help us sail through, and hope in the weeks and months to come, we will be able to successfully use the term post-COVID era. We can't use that now since we are till now even in the COVID era. Hopefully, we will be able to use this term post-COVID era very soon. The topic chosen for the day is Shri Mahalaxmi. Interestingly, in the South Indian tradition, be it in the Tamil, Kannada, Telugu, Malayalam tradition, when the child has to be fed with food, let's assume one of the easiest made dishes, as well as an elixir in its own way, the curd rice. So the mother would love to feed her child. I'm talking about the yesteryears. A lot of the experienced people here may be able to associate. When the mother used to carry the silver bowl filled with curd rice, she used to carry her child outside and ask the child to look at the beautiful ball of white hue above, loitering in the sky. And she would say, "That is Chanda Mama. Now have food." Same is the case with the North Indian mothers as well. She would call the the moon, Chanda Mama, like how we call him Ambuli Mama. And then she would feed the child. Interestingly, this art of feeding the child by making the child absolutely stunned with the beauty of the moon has been put together in the form of chaste Tamil verses in the Bhakti movement era by the Alvars, especially by Vishnu Chitta, who's also called Periyalvar. Ambuliye, ninmuham agil en kulandaye kandupo. Alvar tells, kindly look at my child. Oh, you moon, you keep boasting yourself of your beauty and the white hue that you have. Now look at my child. He's as beautiful or even more beautiful than you. Look at my child. So there have been a variety of experience looking at the moon and feeding the child. In fact, while describing the mystic poetess Andal's beauty in his famed work called as Amukta Malyada in Telugu, Krishna Devaraya invokes that the moon will develop the accusation of having robbed Andal's countenance's beauty on the Chaturthi night. So moon as a simile, moon as an illustration, moon as an example, moon as the very object for a child to be fed, and referring to him as Ambuli Mama or Chanda Mama has been in the vogue. But interestingly, you must note, be it the north or the south, we call him Mama. In the right way, when construed, the word Mama indicates uncle, and especially not the one who is born with the father, either the elder brother or the younger brother to the father. It is the elder or the younger brother to the mother. So Mama comes from the maternal side. So across the Indian subcontinent and across the diaspora of the Indic civilization, which is living across the world, we refer to the moon as Mama, the one who's born with the mother. So now, in the reverse process, if he becomes the Mama, if he becomes the uncle, now I should understand who that mother is. When Samudra Manthanam was performed, and Samudra Manthanam was carried out by the Devas and the Asuras, people who would like to have a glimpse of how it looked from the very modern depiction of the Suvarna Bhumi airport in Thailand, and people who would like to go slightly to the medieval times can refer to the Khmer dynasty's depiction on the walls of Angkor Wat and Siam Reap, which again shows the Samudra Manthana Drishyam. In Silappadigaram, the Sangat Tamil literature, Ilangovadigal, a Jain, the Jain poet tries to bring the beauty of Samudra Manthanam. Vadavarayai mata kiva sukiyai nana ki kadal vannan pandorunal. So he does speak about Samudra Manthanam. So while Samudra Manthanam took place, of course came the Halahalam or Kalakutam. This has been described in detail in Balakandam in Srimad Ramayanam, Adi Parva in Sri Mahabharatam, in Srimad Bhagavata Mahapuranam, in Sri Vishnu Puranam. 2 Itihasas and 2 Puranas speak about Samudra Manthanam. When Halahalam or Kalakutam came, Lord Shiva consumed it. Keshi Vishasya Patrena Rudrena Apibatsaha, says Rigvedam. Interestingly, in the Dvaita Siddhantam, followers of Raghavendra Swamy should know that Madhvacharya has beautifully commented where he uses Vayu as the mediator. I'm not getting into that. I'm just trying to tell you how great our Acharyas were while commenting upon sections. Then Lord Shiva became Nilakantha. Adi Shankara denotes that Parvati's ability, prowess, was able to prevent Shiva's misadventure. Karalam yatshvelam kabalitavatakaala kalanana shambhos tanmulam tavajanani tatanka mahima, he tells in Saundarya Lahari. Then came the wish-yielding cow, Kamadhenu, wish-yielding creeper, Kalpaka Vriksham. Both these similes are used in the Upodghatam of Raghavendra Swamy, Pujyaya Raghavendraya Satya Dharma Rathaya cha Bhajatam Kalpavrikshaya Namatam Kamadhenave is the invocatory verse. So as Chintamani, Kaustubham, Halahalam, Amritam, everything arose, came Lord Chandra. And after Chandra came Sudhamayi, who's Shri Mahalaxmi. Since both the moon and Mahalakshmi emerged from the same source, father Janaka, who's Samudra Raja, he is treated as the son of Samudra Raja. Chandra is treated as the son of Samudra Raja, while Parvati is, Shri Mahalakshmi is treated as the daughter of Samudra Raja. Lakshmi Kshira Samudra Raja Tanayam Sriranga Dhameshwarim Dasi Bhuta Samasta Deva Vanitam Lokaika Deepankuram is the verse that is celebrated in Lakshmi Ashtotram. So came Mahalakshmi. If Chandra is the uncle to us, the one who is born with him, his sister becomes the mother, correct? So Mahalakshmi becomes the mother through that relationship. That is why Vedanta Deshika, the great Sri Vaishnava poet, playwright, polyglot, polymath, dietitian, mathematician, in his Shri Stuti says this: Mata Devi Tvamasi Bhagavan Vasudeva Pitame Jatasoham Janani Yuvayoho Ekalakshyam Dayayaha Dhatto Yushmat Parijanataya Deshikairapyatasvam Kimte Bhuyaf Priyamiti Kila Smeravaktra Vibhasi. He says Mata Devi, the one who is the consort to the Deva. Deva Shabdam is Divukridayam Dhatu. The one who has the art or the passion of playing is called Deva. The one who accompanies the Deva throughout and equally plays is called Devi. Mata Devi, He Mahalakshmi, you are my mother. Tvamasi Bhagavan Vasudeva Pitame. Vasudeva, who is a Shadgunya Paripurna. The one who is adept with 6 qualities, Jnana Bala, Aishwarya Virya, Shakti Tejas, is my father. I pay my obeisances to the both of you, says Vedanta Deshika. Parashara Maharshi, Vedavyasa's father, in Sri Vishnu Puranam tells, Nityevesha Jaganmata Vishno Shrir Anapayini Devatve Devadeheyam Manushyatve Cha Manushi Raghavatve Abhavat Sita Rukmani Krishna Janmani. If the goddess chooses to be born as a human, it is because he is born as human. If he is a Rama, she is Sita. If he is Krishna, she is Rukmini. Raghavatve Abhavat Sita Rukmini Krishna Janmani. So both of them are inseparable. In Sanskritam, she is denoted as an Apritak Siddha Viseshanam, the inseparable adjective. For us, adjectives are separable. While looking at a child, we may say, he's very cute. 10 years later, we'll say, while he was 2 years, he was very cute, not now. So the adjective, which is cuteness, which is associated with the substratum, the child, has disappeared over a period of time. Not in the case of Mahalakshmi. She is an Apritak Siddha Viseshanam, inseparable component, so much so that the substratum will lose its value if separated from the adjective. Now that I've spoken about Ramavataram, where the goddess Mahalakshmi chooses to be born as Sita when he is born as Rama, is very important considering our organization. Because for Raghavendra Swamy, his name, Yati name itself denotes Raghava Indra, Raghavendra, Raghukula Raghava. So the one who has come in Raghukulam is called Raghava, who's Rama. And the Aradhya Deivam for Raghavendra Swamy was Moola Rama. So I should be picking up examples from Srimad Ramayanam to give you an insight of how our acharyas have had a look. In Srimad Ramayanam, there are plenty of instances to prove the Dampatyam of Rama and Sita. There is no doubt. I will take 1 or 2 incidents. 1. Hanuman, the character, very, very important one, filled with servitude and devotion, who comes in the latter half of Ramayana. In Balakandam, Ayodhya Kandam, Aranya Kandam, the first 3 cantos, he is not there. He comes only after interval. Hanuman was very, very adept in learning. He learnt 9 forms of Vyakaranam, Samskrita Vyakaranam under Lord Surya. He was very powerful because of Vayu's presence in him. But I cannot call it a disadvantage. He had chosen to study only in boys only school. It was not co-education. So he studied in boys only school. And in his boys only school, the only boy was he. There was no classmate also. He was the only child, could have been pampered. That is why he started flying towards the sun, assuming it to be a fruit. Balarka bimbamu phalamani batina, says Annamacharya. So Hanuman, he met up with Rama and understood Rama's position, plight. Upon Sugriva's command, while the monkeys were dispatched in different directions, Hanuman with Jambava, Nala, Neela, Angada go in the southern direction. Now Hanuman is told, you have to go in search of some lady. He studied in boys only school. He didn't even accept friend requests from girls. He has never seen women for that matter. The only two women he has seen besides his mother Anjana Devi are Vali's wife Tara and Sugriva's wife Ruma. And from his understanding, women, whether they are human or monkey, they will have a tail. Now Rama is telling you have to go in search of Sita. First of all, Hanuman had this doubt. Why should this man lament over the loss of his wife? Why can't he marry another Gita if there is no Sita? That was his doubt. But he would not ask. Unlike a Sugriva who was not that seasoned, Hanuman will not speak unnecessarily. He said, I will go. But he didn't have a profile picture of Sita. And he did not know how to move with women. Finally, he goes to Lanka. But before going to Lanka from Tirukkurungudi, which is in the Mahendragiri Parvatam in the southern part of Tamil Nadu, in Bellari where Rama was stationed, Rama had said, Bhaskarena Prabhayata, she is inseparable from me, Hanuman, like how the rays, the light of the sun is inseparable from the sun. See, you cannot separate the light from the sun. The light is different from the sun because the sun emits light. But the light is inseparable from the sun. Though they seem like two components, they are inseparable. In Nyaya Shastram, this is called Vyasajya Vritti. So Rama had spoken to Hanuman this way. Now Hanuman goes there. First, he mistakes Ravana's wife to be Ramapatni. So the moment he sees the very well-decked, ornamented, silk-clothed lady seated, sleeping next to Ravana, he assumes this to be Sita. Aspotayama chuchumba pucham nananda chikrida jagau jagama stambana roham nipapata bhumo nidarshayam swam prakritim kapinam, tells Valmiki. Then he auto-corrects himself. So in earlier days, when there was no autocorrect facility, in Microsoft Word, we had to do the proofreading. Now it will tell you, this is the word that you had denoted. It knows that we will do spelling mistakes for sure. So he auto-corrected himself and then went to Ashokavanam. What happened between all that I'm not describing because the topic is Mahalaxmi. The moment he sees Sita, she is keeping her eye glances in the northwesternly direction, assuming that's the direction towards India. Ekastha hridayanunam rameva anupashyati, tells Valmiki. Now, before meeting up with Sita, his thought was, why is Rama still surviving by not marrying another lady? He could forget Sita and marry Gita. The moment he sees Sita, he now thinks Rama must be the most hard-hearted man on this world, in this planet to ever exist, for he still exists despite having lost Sita. If somebody else, if I had been in Rama's position, I would have died that very moment. Look at her gait. Look at the valor with which she sits. Tulya Sheela Vayovrittam Tulyabhijana Lakshanam Raghavorhati Vaidehim Tanchayam Asitekshana, tells Valmiki. So, the moment he saw Sita, he auto-corrected himself to join her. Now, he meets up with her. Finally, she ends up talking with Hanuman. First, she had doubts. Now, she starts talking. That time, she tells, Bhaskarena Prabhayata, I am inseparable from Rama like the light that is inseparable from the sun. See, did both of them have any telepathy? Did both of them go like how we do match fixing, question fixing? Did they ever go telling that, okay, they will ask you this question, you have to tell this simile? No. They were so inseparable that their similes were also alike. That is why Saint Tyagaraja of the famous Vagayakara in the Carnatic classical music tradition denotes Sita as the mother and Rama as the father. Sitam Mayam Shri Ramudu Makutam Ji Sitam Mayamma. She is my mother. So through the relationship of Chandra, who's Chanda Mama or Ambuli Mama, we can establish that Mahalakshmi is the mother. Through Tyagaraja's composition, Vedanta Deshika's assertive sentence in Sri Stuti and Ramayana Vakyam, we can conclude that Mahalakshmi is our divine mother. Now, what role does she play in Srimad Ramayanam? In Ramayanam especially, unlike Bhagavatam, because in Bhagavatam, Krishna will take a lot of the limelight, unlike Ramayanam, where Sita is given equal role. Now we talk about women-centric movies. In fact, if we have to refer to one woman-centric work, it is no other work but Ramayanam. Valmiki at a later stage repents. He says, I had registered this work, this compilation of mine under Rama's name. I have done a mistake. It should have been called Sita's Charitram. Sitaya's Charitam Mahat, tells Valmiki. So in Srimad Ramayanam, Sita plays a very important role where there are multiple instances. One, Sita and Rama had an MOU between them that whoever comes as a devotee, as a Sharanagata, as the one who seeks asylum, it is Sita's grace which will be invoked first and only after her Purushakara Sakshatkaram. Purushakaram means recommendation. Sakshatkaram is exemplification. Only after that will Rama accept that person. This was the norm that both of them had understood. Though they didn't publicly make it clear, this was their understanding and they worked accordingly. When Hanuman comes in Sundarakandam, meets up with Sita in Ashokavanam under the shade of Simshupa Vriksham, Sita asks, who are you? Hanuman tells the entire Ramayana and he tells that I am Ramasya Dutoham. Ramachandrasya dasoham Shri Sita Nayakasya Guru Guhahitasya Ramachandrasya dasoham Samadana Bhedadi Chaturasya Sajjana Palasya Dushta Harasya Samayachara Sampradayakasya Shabari Moksha Pradasya Varasya Ramachandra Syadasoham. So they were very loving towards each other. Now when Hanuman introduces himself to Sita, he tells Mata Sita, I am the messenger of Rama, I am the servant of Rama. But Sita has a doubt. Without she giving the first sanction, how could Rama have accepted Sugriva, his entire kingdom, and of course Hanuman inclusive? But she could not tell this publicly. She cannot tell Hanuman, we both had, Rama and I, both of us had a deal. Without my acceptance, he will not accept anybody. How dare he accept you all? She couldn't have said, because this understanding was only between the two. She didn't want this understanding to go outside. Considering this scenario, she asks, Vanaranam naranam va katham asit samagamaha. Hey Hanuman, Vanaranam naranam va. I can understand that you are a monkey, Vanara. And people whom you mention about Vali being vanquished, Sugriva being made the next king, Angada, et al., you're all monkeys. So you're a large clan of monkeys living in Kishkinta. My husband, as I understand, is a human, Nara. You're all Vanara. So this is one set of community. Though both of us could be classified or could be brought under one umbrella called animals in zoology, we are still different genus, family, species. How could Rama have made friends with monkeys? Vanaranam naranam va katham asit samagamaha. What was her intent? Her intent was, without my acceptance, without Mata, Universal Mother, Mahalaxmi, Sita's acceptance, how could Rama break the memorandum of understanding and accept you all? This is the purport. But she didn't say that. Hanuman, who's a Navavyakarana Pandita, could just not read the lines, but between the lines. He understood, but he didn't say. If it had been us, we would have said, Mata, I know where you're hinting at. We would have said all those things. But Hanuman did not say Mata. He said, Mata, you won't believe. We were lost. We, the monkeys, under Sugriva's leadership, were lost. We didn't know what was the next step. While we were directionless, clueless, absolutely in pandemonium. And when we were seated atop the cliff in Kishkinta, we saw somebody who was very similar to you. Since the lady was at a very high elevation, we couldn't see her clearly, but it seemed like you. We saw somebody forcefully taking her, and she, with her benign grace, yasyam dishi viharate devi drishtistvadiya tasyam aham ahamikam dhanvate sampadoghaha varini tava sute vitara kushalamayi dehi tava kaseva mohana dhame rame pahi jagat janani, says Swati Tirunal. Mata, this lady was very similar to you. She showered her benign grace on us. And you know what was the impact of her grace? In a few minutes from then, we were able to meet up with Rama. So Sita was convinced of the fact that only after her acceptance to her grace, Rama accepted the monkeys. So Ramayanam may seem like just like a story of the hero and the heroine, where the heroine is lost and the hero brings her. A simple skeleton. But if you get into every letter of Srimad Ramayanam, commentators have put in their minds to such an extent that you'll be amazed looking at the interpretations that they give. Madhuram Madhuraksharam, we say. So Mata Mahalaxmi's presence in Ramayana is just not namesake. It is with her grace that Rama accepts. Is there any other drishyam? Yes. Vibhishana was accepted, was given asylum by Rama. How come? When he has been given asylum, Sita should have given Abhaya Pradhanam to him first, or should have at least showered her grace on him. But we don't have any instance in Srimad Ramayanam Adikavyam where Vibhishana ends up meeting Sita. Vibhishana may have spoken on behalf of her in Yuddhakanda Upodghatam at the commencement. He advises Ravana, telling that it is not right on the part of an administrator of a kingdom to snatch or steal somebody else's wife. If commoners do it, people can approach the king. If commoners do it, people can approach the court. But if the chief justice or if the leader himself starts abusing women and starts playing with them, then whom will the people approach? So give back Ramapatni, Sita, back to him. Despite having Vibhishana saying all this, Ravana did not pay heed to, neither did his son Indrajit. So Vibhishana leaves the kingdom and he goes with 4 of his friends, close associates. If you start a party, at least 4 members will join. That much we can be confident. Chaturbihi saharakshasaihi utpapata gadapanihi. He has to take some weapon with him to say that he has the ability to defend. But it should not be in an aggressive manner. When you hold the pumpkin portion, the large portion of the maize upwards, it means you are in the ability to fight. When you put it down in the reverse, it means you are ready to serve. So as he flew Trijata, who is supposedly his daughter, we don't have a very clear sentence denoting that she is the daughter of Vibhishana, but let's assume she is the daughter of Vibhishana. She was the only solace for Sita in Ashokavanam. Now, looking at this man flying towards Bharata Desham, Sita was surprised. She asked Trijata, who is this? She tells, this is my father. He is going to seek asylum at the feet of your husband Rama. So Sita gave her grace to Vibhishana, and that is why Vibhishana could get Abhaya Pradhanam from Rama. Vatsalyat Abhaya Pradhana Samayat Artarti Nirvapanat Audaryat Aghasoshanat Aganita Shreyaf Padaf Prapanat Shreya Shripati Reka Eva Jagatam Yeteja Shatsakshinah Prahladascha Vibhishanascha Karirat Pancha Lyahalya Dhruvaha goes this very famed shlokam that talks about the 6 witnesses to the Lord's mercy. So Sita's presence, Jagannata Mahalaxmi's presence is very important in Ramayana. If Parashara in Vishnu Puranam tells that she is born as Sita if he chooses to be born as Rama, and if she chooses to be born as Rukmini if he is born as Krishna, must be exemplified. To some extent, I have covered Ramayana. Now let's go to Bhagavatam. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna, who was born and raised in Uttar Pradesh, Gokulam, Mathura. We call it Mathura today, but in Sanskritam it is Madhura. Madhu stands for honey. Madhura bhagyam ananya bhogyamide vasudeva vadhu stanandayam tat kimapi brahma kishora bhava drishyam, tells Vedanta Deshika. So Madhura, Gokulam, Vrindavanam, Govardhanam. 4 important places. Then as he shifted, he started ruling Madhura for some time, and from there, to escape from the tyranny that was leashed at the city by Jarasandha of Magadha Desham, Bihar, he shifted to Gujarat. He bought one island. Today, everybody is buying one island. So gone are the days when people used to buy one plot, one ground, half a ground, a 2-bedroom apartment, villa, 3-bedroom. Now they are buying island. So same is the case with Krishna, who bought an island, called it Dwaraka, and he shifted the entire citizens of his particular province completely in one night there. So from Uttar Pradesh, he has come to Gujarat. And he was married to Rukmini Devi. Generally, Rukmini's role is not as high. When I say not importance, role is not as high as Sita in Ramayana. She does come in certain places. In Srimad Bhagavatam, she drafts a love letter to Krishna. One of the boldest love letters that I have seen. Bold for a variety of reasons, because Sanskritam, though hailed as one of the classical languages, perfect languages, was not spoken widely by all genders and classes. Of course, people who were trained in Vedas, the Vedic scriptures, were speaking in Sanskritam, but women spoke a concocted version of Sanskritam called Prakritam. So if you look at Abhignana Shakuntalam, the famed drama play of Kalidasa, or Vikramurvashiyam, or Malavikagnimitram, or Usa Anuridham, or let's take Bhasa's plays, women will always speak in Prakritam. So women thought Prakritam was less complicated, was with lesser rules, unlike Sanskritam. But when women shunned Sanskritam and spoke in Prakritam for its ease, Rukmini was different. She chose Sanskritam as a language to be a trendsetter to draft her love letter. Shrutva gunan bhuvana sundara shrinvatante nirvishya karna vivaraihi haratongatapam rupam drisham drishimatam akhilarthalabham tvayachyuta vishati chittamapatrapam me. So she drafted a letter. And it was a letter of 7 shlokas. And she drafted it from Nagpur, current day Vidarbha region. From there, she had to send one person as a messenger to Dwaraka, all the way near Jamnagar. So from Sabudana Kichdi, she had to send it to Dhokla. Krishna received it and came the next day. We know about Rukmini Vivaham. one of the boldest ever, because unlike Sita's marriage, which was all the more simple, here it was Rakshasena Vidhina. If the girl's side opposes the boy, then the boy, with the girl's consent, as per one of the Shastric lines, has the ability to elope with the girl, take her away. Now, don't quote me anywhere for any mistakes that may happen from any boy or girl. This is just a mention. It's called Rakshasena Vidhi, Rakshasa Vidhina, Rakshasa Vivaham. There are 8 forms of marriages: Brahmam, Paishacham, Gandharvam, Rakshasam, Prajapatyam, and so on. So Rukmini reached Dwaraka. Dwaraka in those days, it was an island nation. So there used to be a bridge, tells Harivamsham, that from the mainland, if you have to go to Dwaraka, you have to show your Shankha Chakra Mudra. So there used to be RFID. Only when there is verification, the bridge will open for you and you will be able to reach Dwaraka. So both of them led a good and a simple life. Krishna and Rukmini. Of course, there are marriages of Krishna with Satyabhama, Jambavati, Mitravinda, Satya, and so on. All that is not our concern here. Now that we are dealing with Mahalakshmi, whose Amsham is seen only in Rukmini. Remember this. As per Vishnu Purana Vakyam, Rukmini is the one who is Mahalakshmi's Amsham. Some of them may opine that Radha was also, but Radha doesn't find a mention in Vishnu Puranam or Bhagavatam. She finds a mention in somewhere in Padmam and Devi Bhagavatam, Radhnoti Sakalan Kaman, Radheti Prakirti, of course in the Bhakti literature of Jayadeva's Ashtapadi, but not essentially in Vishnu Puranam. Now, on the other hand, while Krishna was there in Dwaraka near Jamnagar, his close friend who studied with him in his Pathashala, which is in Sandipani's ashramam in Madhya Pradesh, his name was Sudhama or Kuchela. Kuchela is an interesting name. Ku in Sanskritam can denote earth, and it can also denote something which is very inferior, not of high quality. If you all will be able to relate to, here is the Charamam, Charana Bhagam from this composition. Ravi Sashi Kuja Buddha Guru Shukrashanaishchara Rahu Ketu Netaram Rajakumaram Ramam Pavana Japtam Avanija Manoharam Bhajare. So who are the grahas here? Ravi, Sashi, Kuja. Who's Kuja? In our Jyotishya Shastram, we denote Angaraka as Kuja. Kuja means the one who is born of Mother Earth. Ku, I said, can denote Mother Earth. It is said that Lord Shiva, while he was sweating, one drop of his sweat fell on Earth, Mother Earth, and that emerged into a graha called as Mars. So, Kuja, Angaraka, is treated as the son of Mother Earth. Mangalavaram Bhumi Kumaram Varam Varam Angarakam Ashrayamyaham. Angarakam Ashrayamyaham, tells Dikshitar. Generally in horoscopes, Kundali or Jatakam, however we call it, for the woman, for the male also there is one component, for the woman also there is a component. If in the woman's Jatakam, Angaraka is generally not in a favorable position, there are chances during motherhood, there are chances that she may have to undergo a surgery like cesarean or something like that. So Angaraka is generally responsible for surgery. So if there is a gynecologist who believes in astrology, he or she will also look into the Jataka. That is aside. Kuja is the one who's born of Mother Earth. Ku can also denote something which is not very favorable, not very superior. So when Bhumi radiates lot of heat is when we'll have to perform Shraddham, Kutapakalam is what we say. Now, coming to Kuchela. Does Ku denote Bhumi? No. Kuchela means very, not very superior. What is not so superior? Chela, he didn't have a proper clothing. So, as per Shastram, it is said that both the man and the woman should not wear clothing which is torn. That is why in most houses, if mama's banyan is torn, it will become the cleaning cloth of the house in the consecutive days. Generally, you should not wear torn pieces of clothing. So he was so poor that he was called Kuchela. Not even a single piece of cloth was without a tear in his house. He was living in destitution, Sudhama or Kuchela. But he had 27 children. So his wife is supposedly called Sushila Ji. Now you may be asking, where did you get Sushila Ji? So in my experience of taking people to heritage tours, while we went to Sudhama Dwaraka in Porbandar, the priest there said Sushila is his wife. There is no mention of Sushila in any of our Puranas. He must have had a wife. Let's keep her name Sushila for now. She said, Sudhama, you have wasted a life's opportunity. Your friend, closest friend, Sakha, is World Bank. Sakshat Shriyaf Patihi, tells Bhagavata Shlokam. With him very close by in Dwaraka, Jamnagar, we are in Porbandar living in poverty. Go seek his help. What will I carry to his house? Asked Kuchela. So she immediately said, I will bring some poha, aval, from the next house. That too she didn't have. She had to borrow somebody else's aval. And she tied it to the Angavastram of Kuchela and sent it along with him. This man walks along the sea coast, Arabian Sea, right? He walks along the sea coast, reaches Jamnagar, bridge opens, he shows his Shankachakra Lanchanam, bridge opens, he goes to Dwaraka. The soldiers, the watchmen, Nayaganaay ninna Nandagopanudaya Koyil Kapane, Koditondrum, Toranavayil Kapane, they do not allow him. They say, see, you are saying you are the friend of Krishna. Krishna is Dwarkadish. And here you look, there is a thin layer of dust over your body. Look at your clothing. How can we allow? Immediately they went and informed Krishna, who was seated with Rukmini. That day's turn was with Rukmini. Next day was Satyabhama. Previous day with Jambavati. So he was seated with Rukmini. Immediately, with Rukmini and Krishna coming outside, they escorted Kuchela, Sudhama, to the palace. And Kuchela said, see, I am a poor man. You are very rich, Krishna. How could we both be friends? Krishna said, no, there is no rule that a rich man should be a friend of only a rich man. It is only the purity and the chastity of the friendship that determines any relationship and not the economic status of any person. Krishna was very observing in this comment because in the same time period, a few decades back, Drupada Maharaja of Panchala Desham had abandoned his very close aide friend called as Drona. Drona and Drupada grew up under the tutelage of Bharadwaja Maharshi. At that point in time, Drupada said, I will give half my kingdom to you. Later, when they grew up and Drona married Kripacharya's sister called Kripi, and they had a son who neighed like a horse while his birth, called Ashwathama, they were so poor that they didn't even have a cow. So if the child would ask for milk, they would get either rice flour or besan flour, add hot water and call it milk, and used to give the flour milk to the child. When his friends came for a summer camp, they said, see, we are all having Hudson's milk. I don't know, Australia is very famous for its dairy products, right? Whatever Australian milk we are having, what milk are you having? Your father is cheating you. Upon understanding that his father was cheating him, Ashwathama goes and cries. That is when Dronacharya wishes to seek the intervention and help of his friend Drupada. So he goes and tells, you don't have to give half the kingdom as you have promised. Give me 2 cows. First of all, the king tells, who are you? I don't even remember having met you. And even if you had studied with me, remember, you are now poor. I am rich. The poor man can never be a friend to a rich man. Unlike that, Krishna did not want that sourness and bitterness to exist in this relationship. So he said, hey, Kuchela, who determines that economic status should be a barrier in a relationship? You are my close friend. Come and sit with me on my Simhasanam. See, Dwaraka was one of the most powerful kingdoms during that time. Even more powerful than Hastinapura, because Hastinapura may have come into limelight in Mahabharata times. But had it not been the strength and the valor of Dwaraka, Duryodhana would have not been dispatched by Shakuni to seek Krishna's help and his army's help in the war. So the most powerful kingdom, Dwaraka, the best of the kings called Dwarakadish Krishna, is asking his poor friend to be seated on the throne. Ekasimhasanam. That is friendship. Will any of the MPs or MLAs be ready to share their seat power with us? That is Bhagavad Bhakti. That very moment, Kuchela spoke to Krishna and he said, Krishna, I'm very happy for having met you after so many years. Krishna said, I also share the same feeling, Kuchela, but I'm sure you must have brought something with you. Kuchela had brought the poha, but looking at the vast spread, there was dokla, tepla, handvi, sabudana, kichidi, the dal makhani, whatever you call it, masal dosa, bada, chakka pradaman, chakka varati, bisi bele bath. Everything was there in the spread, and looking at that spread, Kuchela was feeling very embarrassed to show this poha to him. Now, as Kuchela has walked this distance, he was sweating. You remember? I spoke about Lord Shiva's sweat and Kujanma. Sweat in Sanatana Dharma is not treated very auspicious. Of course, as per naturopathy, panchakarma, swedanam, if you only when you sweat will all the toxins go away. That on one side. But it's a belief in Sanatana Dharma that sweat is treated as a sign of Alakshmi, inauspiciousness. Only when Alakshmi goes, Lakshmi can come in. That is why in Sri Suktam we say, Tamas vanaspatistava vrikshoda bilvaha tasya phalani tapasan udantu mayantarayascha bahya alakshmihi upaitumam deva sakha kirtischa maninasaha. 3 times Sri Suktam tells in the Khilabhagam of Rigveda that Alakshmi should go. If sweat has to go, somebody has to fan. Krishna tells Rukmini, come and fan for my friend. Imagine asking the queen of the most powerful kingdom to go and fan. Rukmini does that. She's Mata Mahalaxmi. She comes and fans for Kuchela. And as the sweat goes away, Krishna takes that first handful of poha and consumes it. Meanwhile, in Sushila's home, the normal mortar becomes ultra grinder. Normal grinding stone turns into ninja or prita mixie. For normal looking shungadi sari, a weave, traditional weave woven in parts of Madurai by the Saurashtra women who were exiled during the invasions, they came up with a print called as shungudi. So she was wearing a shungudi sari. Now it became beautiful parampara pattu with rettapet, with beautiful hamsa motif border. She was sporting a nice sari. All children were dressed in Naidu Hall clothes. The next handful, while Krishna was about to consume, Rukmini came and stopped. Why? She would have thought, if you consume this Krishna, then we will be in a situation where we have to go and serve in their house. No. If you give anything beyond a certain limit to your devotee, they will forget devotion. They will not be devoted. Stop. Since Mahalakshmi's grace was invoked, her sovereign power was invoked in blessing the devotee, she is called Diti. Since she can never be questioned of her power, she is called Aditi. That is why Lakshmi Ashtotram puts the names together. Aditim, Chaditim, Deeptam, Vasudham, Vasudharinim, Namami Kamalam, Kantam, Kshamam, Kshiroda Sambhavam. So as her grace was invoked, Krishna blessed Kuchela. So be it Srimad Ramayanam where Sita's grace is invoked, or be it Bhagavata Mahabharatam where Rukmini's grace is invoked, Mahalakshmi becomes an apratak siddha viseshana. Now that we are living in COVID era, we didn't know Corona. Suddenly Corona came from somewhere and it has put the world in a shock. What is the way out? Every month, some astrologer keeps telling Rahu is looking at Ketu. Immediately September 5th, vaccine will come. Then another person will come and say, now Brihaspati is looking at Rahu and Ketu with bigger eyes. So October 5th, you will get the next vaccine. People are waiting. Nothing is in our hands. One thing is for sure. Our prayers are in our hands. We can keep praying. Whom do we pray to? Sir, Mahalakshmi is responsible for wealth. She is responsible only for 22 carat Bank of Baroda gold coins, which is found in the yearly calendar where Mahalakshmi is seated like this. Gold coins keep coming. There is a huge steel plate below. All the coins will fall into that plate. They will overflow. There will be 2 elephants. This is Lakshmi for us. Because we have wrongly construed all these years that wealth is only 22 carat gold coins. Why can't Ramayana, Mahabharata, Puranadi Pustakam, Grantham, the knowledge that we have accrued out of it, the bhakti that emerges out of it, be wealth? So Shastram tells, Aishwaryam Aksharagadim Paramam Padam Va, be it Ihaloka Aishwaryam, material wealth, or Atma Sakshatkaram, or Moksham, all three can be granted by Mahalakshmi. Mahalakshmi is that powerful. So if Mahalakshmi is so powerful, how can she help us in this time of COVID era? I'll give you an incident from Ramayanam and then we can take up questions in the question answer session. In Ramayanam,
Looks like there is some challenge at Shri Dushyant ji's end. Hopefully, he should be joining us back shortly. While we are waiting for him, let me play this quick introductory video for all of you. We should have him back joining us shortly.
पूज्याय राघवेन्द्राय सत्यधर्मरथाय च भजतां कल्पवृक्षाय नमतां कामधेनु. A warm welcome to all of you to Shri Raghavendra Swamy Prarthana Mandir, Melbourne, branch of the revered Shri Raghavendra Swamy Mata in Mantralayam. Guru Raghavendra Swamiji's devotees are present all over the world, and our Kalpavruksha Kamadhenu, Mantralaya Guru Sarvabhauma Shri Raghavendra Swamy comes to bless his devotees wherever they are. With the blessings of Pujya Shri Subodhendra Tirtha Swamiji, we were delighted and blessed to welcome Guru Raghavendra Swamiji from Mantralaya to Melbourne in February 2019 and to be the first branch of Mantralaya Matha in Australia. We conduct daily puja of the Chara Vrindavana and Paduka and conduct weekly Samuhika Guru Vandana online for all devotees to participate and offer prayers to our dear Guru Rayara. Devotees have welcomed the Rayara Paduka and Prahlada Raja to their homes to seek the Guru's blessings. We celebrate all major festivals and Aradhana events of the visionary saints by offering our seva to the Lord through various religious and cultural programs, inviting both international and local artists to perform, like our recent 8 days Aradhana 2020 Mahotsava, featuring leading artists like Shri Vidyabhushan ji, Shri Puttur Narasimha Nayak ji, Shri Mysore Ramchandra Acharya ji, amongst others. We are delighted to present our current Navaratri 2020 program, celebrating the rich heritage and culture of our Matrubhumi, Bharat. We hope you all join and participate in this program. Om Shri Raghavendraya Namaha.
We welcome you back, Dushyant.
thank you. So, the place in Srimad Ramayanam where Shurpanakha intervenes, she comes. Shurpa in Sanskritam denotes a winnowing fan. For example, people who are used to looking at processes in agriculture, traditional agriculture will know, while the husk has to be separated from the grain, it will be pounded. And then they will put the admixture of both the husk and the rice together in a fan. In Tamil, it is called moram. If you put a winnowing fan, you will get that in Google. So they will hold it at a height and at an elevation and start throwing it from the top. at a parabolic motion, because of the light weight of the husk will try flying away from the grain and the grain will fall on the ground. So this process is called winnowing, and there is a certain instrument called the winnowing fan, which is narrow at one end, broad at the other will be used. This is called shurpa. Since her nails were like the shurpa, she was called Shurpanakha. She became a widow because of Ravana. And while she looked at Rama, who looked like Manmataha, the Cupid to the Cupid. So she was amazed and she went and proposed. Rama said, in this avataram, I have vowed to marry only once. You go to my brother Lakshmana, fair and lovely. Lakshmana said, see, I am already doing the maid servant's job in their house. Please don't come to me. The moment she saw Sita, she knew Sita would have been the cause for Rama rejecting her. While she wants to go and attack Sita, Lakshmana humiliates her and sends her. She goes and complains to her half-brothers called Khara, Dushana and Trishiras, who were stationed in Janasthana. As they were told about this incident, they all wanted to avenge the humiliation meted to their sister, and they all came as a group of 14,000 demons marching towards Rama, Lakshmana and Sita, the trio. Rama asks Sita and Lakshmana to go to the cave from which there can be a clear view of the war scene. It is like an IPL corporate box. So they go there. On the other hand, Rama starts fighting the 14,000 demons. Ekascha Ramo Dharmatma Katham Yuddham Bhavishyati. The rishis were amazed. But of course, Rama at the end of it could vanquish Khara, Dushana and Trishiras. Trishira Shirastritaya Timira Nirasa Vasarakara Dushana Jalaniti Soshana Toshita Rishighana Goshita Vijaya Ghoshana, says Vedanta Deshika. Purana Purusha Paratmaja Shruta Paradidina Kara Viradharavana Viravana Nakapara Sharamano Hara Vikruta Tyagaraja Sannuta Jagadananda Karaka. So, if we look at the war that happened, in 1.5 muhurta's time, Rama was able to vanquish 13,999 demons in Janasthana, sparing the last one called Akampana. On the other hand, Rama turned after vanquishing them towards Sita. Unlike the modern directors who direct movies where they will show the hero completely unhurt after having fought 50 rowdies, Valmiki is very realistic. After having vanquished them, even Rama has bruises in his body, blood oozing from various parts. Looking at her husband, she became happy. Why? Because she was able to see the valor that was exemplified in her husband. So she comes running from the cliff to embrace her husband. Valmiki here now throws a shloka. Tam drishtva shatru hantaram maharishinam sukhavaham Babhuva Hrishta Vaidehi Bhartaram Parishasvaje. So she came and embraced Rama. Bhartaram, husband. Parishasvaje. She embraced him tightly. Tam Drishtva, after having seen him. Shatru Hantaram, after having seen him vanquishing the enemies. Maharishinam Sukhavaham, after having seen him bring happiness and delight amongst the residents, the inhabitant rishis. Babhuva Hrishta, she is very happy. Why, sir? Why should she be happy? Husband is hurt. No, he has proven his valor, so she is happy. In Kshatriyas, if you get all these scars, it is very happy. Suppose the male or the female in the house cook and they get scars from the cooker, that is not to be proud at. For Kshatriyas, that was the scar. She came and embraced. Why? See, when somebody is hurt, if you press them harder, won't it pain for them? How could she come and embrace? Because Ayurveda Shastram tells that Mahalakshmi is a repository of all medicinal herbs. So all the medicinal herbs, Santanakarani, Vishalyakarani, Sanjeevani, Sandhani, these are all herbs mentioned in Ramayanam. They are all herbs that will give solace to the person who's suffering. So since she is an embodiment of all these herbs, she came and embraced the Lord. So Mahalakshmi is just not responsible for 22 carat Bank of Baroda gold coins. She is also the one who gives Atma Jnanam, Jivatma Jnanam, Paramatma Sakshatkaram, Moksham, and including robust health. If we have to be in the pink of robust health, Mahalakshmi's grace is important. Sir, you say she is mother. Why will the mother let her children in this current day suffer like this? While she is a mother to us, even Mother Nature is her child. Mother Nature and we are siblings. While we have tormented Mother Nature all these years, especially in the last few decades, showcasing plastic growth, pollution, she tried advising us through various means. Now she has given us a big hit where she tells, only if you know how to stay within your four walls will you be able to realize that Mother Nature, who is also my child just like you, needs to be treated with respect and due regards. So as much as a mother is benevolent and filled with benign grace, she is also the one who knows to take hard decisions on her children for their welfare, for our welfare. So Mahalakshmi is also the one who gives us good health. So good health, relevant, legitimate, required wealth, and the very important, pertinent jnanam to attain Paramatma through an upayam like a Bhakti Yogam or Sharanagati, be it Moksham, Ihaloka Aishwaryam, or Ayurarogya Saukhyam, it is Mahalakshmi who grants us. And Navaratri, of course, in a very, very unique period, because we have Adhika Masam. Once in 4 years, we have this. So generally, festivals slightly get pushed. Navaratri generally begins on the Mahale Amavasya. But this time, Mahale Amavasya was in September. Now we have this Amavasya. So in this beautiful Purushottama Masam, which they call in the north, we have all had the opportunity to witness a few incidents from Ramayanam, Bhagavatam, to denote how high, in a high pedestal, is Mahalakshmi being seated. And she's just not responsible for wealth, but for health and moksham as well. Now that this is an online lecture, I will now leave it for questions to flow. So the host from Shri Raghavendra Swamy Prarthana Mandir, Shriman Sanjeev, would have collated questions from the comments that you have all offered and will be asking me questions. So on your behalf, he will be asking me questions, and whatever little I know to those questions as answers, I will give. If I do not know, I'll say I do not know. So let's be frank and let's go to the question and answer session. Sanjeev, can you begin?
Absolutely. Thank you very, very much, firstly, Dushyant ji. What a enthralling speech this was. We were all so immersed in this. Honestly, until you stopped us and said that it is now time for Q&A, we did not even realize that it is already an hour and 10 minutes. Really, really intriguing. What personally I loved, Dushanji, is how you were interweaving the stories along with what actually happened then, and in so beautiful terms, calling out how we can all understand and relate to right now. Personally, loved the RFID tag one, which I think is that technology is probably still not there in its fullest terms, but apparently was already getting used then. So once again, I request everybody that this is an interactive Q&A, so please do send your questions onto the Facebook page. I already have a few, and as Dushanji said, I'm asking this on your behalf. So if there is something I misinterpret or ask it wrongly, please do correct me on Facebook, but I hope I will represent it correctly. So firstly, there is a question that asks about what is your view on for women in Kali Yuga? There is a lot of restrictions sometimes in terms of what they can recite, cannot recite, what shlokas can they say or not say, Veda shlokas, Rudram, etc. So, what is your view on that? Could you shed some light on it? please.
So now, as I interpret the question, what parts from our vast expanse of Vedic literature can women recite? So my answer is from my understanding of the Shastras and whatever my acharyas have told me. I cannot say they could be wrong. I can say I could be wrong. So this is a take from my end, from whatever I've garnered. You are women who are listening to this or who will be listening in the future are free to do whatever they want. I am no restriction. I'm just going to present. Yes, in the yester times, during Ramayana, Mahabharata times, we have evidences of women performing even Sandhya Vandhanam. Sita is said to have performed Sandhya Vandhanam from Sundarakandam. But in Kali Yuga, the Acharyas, there is a consensus, be it Advaita, Visishta Advaita, Advaita, that women need not have to undergo Vedic training. They don't have to learn the 4 Vedas, which is inclusive of the Upanishads. But they have the right to understand the meaning of it. So if somebody is exploring the meaning of Purusha Suktam or Shri Suktam, women can listen, but they cannot learn and recite. It is not that they don't have the ability. They will do it much better than men, but they were not allowed to. One reason which is told for such denial is Vedam comes with sound, because without sound there is no Vedam. So Vinaswaram, there is even change in the meaning and it can even accrue sins. So with such articulation and intonation, if a woman recites, it could be injurious to her delicate health. Ultimately, though the man could also be responsible for the child's birth, it is ultimately the lady who carries the child. So for her reproductive health, it could be detrimental, is one reason given. So what is that which women can recite? In my understanding, they can read Ramayana verses. In my understanding, they could read Bhagavatam verses. In my understanding, they could read Bhagavad Gita verses. For leaving the Vedas and the Upanishads and the Vedangas, they can read Mahabharata verses, Ramayana verses, Bhagavatam, Vishnu Puranam, Bhagavad Gita, Narayaniyam, Paduka Sahasram, Stotramala, Tamil, Kannada, whatever language. Now, they can recite all of this and learn. But a major point of view of difference will come in Vishnu Sahasranamam. Many have this question. Vishnu Sahasranamam forms an integral part of Mahabharatam, but when it has been presented to us, there have been some sections added in the front and at the end. From the first, when we begin, there is one passage which some recite, Anganyasa, Karanyasa, Ityadi, Prakititaha. That passage of Anganyasam and Karanyasam, when recited in public, women generally should not recite that paragraph because it has to do with Yoga Shastram. And Yamam, Niyamam, Asanam, Pranayamam, Pratyaharam, Dharana, Dhyanam, Samadhi, Ashtanga Yoga, as per the Acharya's commentaries, have been allocated for men alone. That is why I'm telling their commentaries. You are free to do whatever you want. Don't quote me anywhere. I'm just telling my point of view. So this passage has to be avoided. And before the Sahasranamam begins, we say, Arihi Om. That portion should be avoided because Harihi and then that Pranavam is the beginning for Vedam. So since it has got Veda sound, that should be avoided. Then Vishwam, Vishnurva, Shatkaro, all that you can recite. And in the end also you can recite. But when you do Namavali, you should not say Pranavam, Vishnave Namaha. I'm not using the word Omkaram. Generally, that should not be recited in public. So in Vishnu Sahasranamam, leaving the Anganyasa Karanyasa passage, Hari Om, everything else can be recited in my understanding. So you can refer to other great scholars and take their opinion as well. I am no authority on this. This is just my opinion. So women can recite shlokas and stotras, leaving Vedas, Upanishads, Vedangas, and in Vishnu Purana, Vishnu Sahasranama, this Anganyasa Karanyasa passage and the Harihi Om passage. Next question.
Thank you, Ji. There is another question, but based on your response, I just have just one thought that came to my head, if I can ask. Are there also shlokas which men are not supposed to recite?
No.
Okay. That helps. Thank you. I hope the women don't come pouncing on that because of that question.
No, that's what. See, we have restrictions, and there could be some reasonable justification and some unknown justification. We don't have one central monitoring body in Sanatana Dharma which says that if I see any woman reciting, then I will do some harm to her. See, it's left to each one's karma and our way of interpreting Dharma Shastra. At one point in time, it stops moral policing. It tells at one point in time, okay, this is what I say. After that, it's your lookout. Simple.
Thank you, Ji. The next question I see is it's actually a interesting question which could probably become a lecture in itself, but I hope you can address it in short. From all the Dashavatarams, 10 avatars, are there any lessons that can be learned from each avatara? I mean, some salient points that stand out.
As you said, we can give a thesis or we can give detailed lectures for a set of days on this. Lessons are plenty. Ramayana itself is an ocean. Ramayana Mahanadi Punati Bhuvanam Punya. Ramayana Mahanadi tells Valmiki, and Mahabharatam is a bigger ocean. I don't even know which is the other side of the ocean. It is as vast as that. So from avatars, to say that lessons can be drawn is on one side. On the other hand, I will like to flip the question and say, is there any specific characteristic feature of every avatara? Vedanta Deshika lists this. So, Purvacharya Surakshitam Bahumatim. I will only refer to our Acharyas. I have nothing of my own. So, Vedanta Deshika tells, for Matsya Avatara, Ichha Meena. So, the Lord was born as a fish completely out of his love and wish and desire to be the fish. Ichha Meena. Vihara Kachapa. He was born to play as a tortoise. Mahapotrin, to show his gigantic form, he became the Varaha. Yadricha Harehe, to show that he can appear at anywhere, anytime, any form, any moment. Yadricha, unexpectedly, Hari, who's Nisimha. Yadricha Harehe, Raksha Vamana, to show that he protects everybody without any distinction, without any discrimination. So while he put his foot on Mother Earth to measure, he did not check if this is Australia, is that Wales area, is that Canberra, is that New Zealand, is that Oceania, is that North, Southeast, is that Middle East, nothing. Without any distinction, any discrimination, he kept his foot. So Raksha Vamana, Rakshakatvam. Rosha Rama. So as Parashurama, he showed at what height, zenith, can anger reach. Rosha Rama. Karuna Kakutsta, to show to what extent compassion can reach. That was Rama Avataram. Rosha Rama, Karuna Kakutsta, Hela Halin. So the one who showed that what valor can do. Balarama even pulled Hastinapura, the entire city, to the waters of Yamuna, is what we say. Then Krida Vallabha. So to show that what play, sport is all about. Just by sport, he covered the sun for Jayadratha's death. Just by sport, he played Rasa Leela to show Sharira Shariri Sambandha. So all these avatars have a special characteristic feature which Vedanta Deshika lists. What lessons we can learn? Of course, there are plenty of lessons. If I go for one, then it will go for a very long time. We won't be able to take more questions, but there are plenty of lessons.
Thank you, Ji. Thank you so much. The next question is again associated with Dasavatara, but hopefully this can be a bit quicker. From Narsimha Avatara onwards, in some ways we know of Lakshmi Devi's presence in each avatars. But before the initial three, are there any recorded instances of did Lakshmi Devi appear, and if yes, in what form?
Okay, in Skanda Puranam, there is an incident which talks about Kubjamram. Kubjamram means the Lord appeared as a large mango tree, and next to the large mango tree, the goddess is said to have appeared as Kubjamram, which means short mango tree. So even while he incarnates as mango tree, she doesn't spare him. She will come with him. So even in Matsya Avatara, well, he was a large fish. Mahalakshmi could have accompanied him as a fish. We don't have any reference, but there is nothing to say that she could have not come. In fact, there is a chapter called Dashavatara Stabakam, which forms an integral part of Lakshmi Sahasram, written by Arasanipalai Venkatadhwari Kavi in the 16th century. In Dashavatara Stabakam, he tells in every avatar of the Lord, she accompanies him. One. Second thing, we must understand, when he came as Matsya, Mahalakshmi need not be elsewhere. She is in the form of the ice, because Shri Mahalakshmi is also denoted by the single letter Shri. Shri Rityevacha Namate Bhagavati. Shri also denotes the one who is able to see through the eyes. So Mahalakshmi need not have to come separately. She was within the eyes of the fish, because he has to spot the Vedas which were hidden by Somakasura. Same is the case with Kurma Avataram. When he appeared as Kurma, he came with beautiful hair locks. The Kurma had hair locks. Kesha Pasha Dhita Pinchika. And he is said to have married Mahalakshmi at the end of Kurma Avataram. Only then she arose from the oceanic waters and he married. In Varaha Avataram, he emerged as Varaha along with Bhudevi, who is a manifestation of Sri Devi. So even in the first three avatars, we come across the presence of Mahalakshmi in various other forms.
Thank you, Ji. Thank you so much. Another question that has come up is, this entire session is dedicated to Mata Mahalakshmi. For a daily basis, is there any mantra or shloka that you would recommend that we need to say? And personally, I really loved the way you explained how Mata Mahalakshmi has so many medicinal, if I could use the term, properties, right? That when she embraced Lord Rama, all the wounds went away. So very apt for this time. There are so many wounds we have, probably, if not at a physical level, at a mental level. So is there something that we can chant on a daily basis?
How much one can chant? How many verses can one can chant? How much time can one spare, be the man or the woman, can spare for daily recitation of towards compositions on Mahalakshmi is one's own choice. But as a speaker, I can tell you what are the available compositions on Mahalakshmi, since the topic is Mahalakshmi. In Vedas, we have the very important portion, which is a Khila Bhagam of Rigvedam called as Shri Suktam. We also have other Suktams which kind of relate to Mahalakshmi, not directly to her, but to her prowess, like Medha Suktam, Bhu Suktam, Neela Suktam, Durga Suktam, and so on. Coming to the Puranas, in Vishnu Puranam, there is a Shri Stuti composed by Indra when she emerges from the oceanic waters. So Indra has composed a Shri Stuti in Vishnu Puranam. There is a traditional Lakshmi Ashtotram. Devya Uvacha Deva Deva Mahadeva Trika Lagya Maheshwaraha. It begins with Devya Uvacha and then Ishvara Uvacha, where is Prakritim Vikritim Vidyam Sarva Bhuta Hita Pradam Shraddham Vibhutim Surabhim Namami Paramatmikam. This is Lakshmi Ashtottara Shatanamavali. Very important and very traditional. That could be recited. Then comes the very famous composition of Adi Shankara around the 8th and the 9th century CE, which is called Kanakadhara Stotram. Angam Harehe Pulakabhushanam Ashrayanti Bhringanganeva Mukula Bharanam Tamalam Angikrita Kila Vibhutira Pangalila Mangalyadastu Mamamangala Devatayaha goes the composition. Then there is a 10th century composition by Yamunacharya called Chatushloki. It has got 4 shlokas. Kantaste Purushottamaha Phanipatihi Shayyasanam Vahanam Vedatma Vihageshwaraha Yavanika Maya Jaganmohini Brahmeshadi Surabrajaha Sadaitaha Tvaddasa Dasi Ganaha Shrihi Ityevachanamate Bhagavati Bhrumakkatam Swambayam begins the shloka. There are 4 shlokas. Then there is a passage by Bhagavad Ramanuja in Sharanagati Gadyam, which says Bhagavatim Shriyam Devim Nityanapainim Niravadyam Devadeva Divya Mahishim Akhila Jaganmataram Asman Mataram Asharanya Sharanyam Ananya Sharanaha Sharanamaham Prapaddi. That passage on Mahalakshmi, Bhagavad Ramanuja. His Sishya called Kuresha or Srivatsanka Mishra composed Shri Stavam on Mahalakshmi. Kuresha's son called Parashara Bhatta composed Shri Guna Ratna Kosham. a composition on Mahalakshmi. Vatsya Varada Guru composed one shloka called Akaratraya Sampannam Aravinda Nivasinim Asesha Jagadishitrim Mande Varadavallabham. That shloka. Then the famed Vedanta Deshika composed Shri Stuti on Mahalakshmi of 25 shlokas. Then his son Nayana Varadacharya composed 100 shlokas on Mahalakshmi called Lakshmi Shatakam, though that is not widely in circulation. Then Arasanipalai Venkatadhvari composed 1008 shlokas on the glory of Padmavati Mahalakshmi in Tiruchanur near Tirupati, which is called Lakshmi Sahasram. So from Shri Suktam to Shri Stuti to Shri Gunaratna Kosham to Shri Stavam to Kanakadhara Stotram to Lakshmi Shatakam to Lakshmi Ashtotram to the compositions of Muthuswami Dikshitar and Swati Tirunal on Mahalakshmi, there are plenty. So based on your availability and your comfort level, men and women can choose whatever they can recite to.
Thank you, Ji. Thank you so much. That was a vast amount of information that we received. I hope those who asked the question got your answers. The next question that we have is probably a bit more pertinent to parents. When you were explaining about Navagraha, when you were explaining about how the relationship between Mars and Earth and how Sun is, if I understood correctly, is considered as a child of Earth. How do we explain all this to children? While it's not just associated with that particular question, even a bit broadly, because today's kids mostly learn things in school, they're scientifically aligned in the modern way. It may become difficult to explain such things to them. What would you suggest as parents we could do?
While our understanding of the Puranas and the Itihasas is more literal than logical. See, all our Itihasas and Puranas are presented to us by Valmiki, Vyasa and other Maharishis in the form of poetry. Poetry has the license, the poet is given the license to exaggerate. So he will give descriptions, similes and metaphors to suit poetry. While we enjoy poetry, while we convince ourselves and explain others, it should be more logical. So when we say Mother Earth gave birth to Mars, it doesn't mean from Earth, one small part, she had to put that little part in her womb of amniotic sac, like how we understand human gestation for a few months and then gave birth to Mars. We need to understand that a mother and a child, be it the son or the daughter, have a lot of similarities. So the mother will always keep the child very close. Mother Earth is where we stay. Whether we believe in Sanatana Dharma or not, even the Western civilization doesn't call Father Earth. They still call her Mother Earth. So they agree that Bhumi is Mata and not Pita. So they agree that she is the one who nourishes us. So where do we get water from? Be it animals or us. We get it from Earth. So a mother gives water to her children. Where do we get our grains, pulses from? Mother Earth. She is the one who gives us. Who sustains us, who gives us place to reside, like a mother does, even Mother Earth does. So she has Mother Earth. The planet has all the characteristics what a real mother in our life has. So she could be treated like a mother, a lady. Now don't tell where are her curvatures. She has her own curves through hills and rivers. When we can't see the beauty of nature, however logical we are, however great a scientist we are, we'll all fail miserably. We have to understand Mother Earth as a repository of all beauty in her. So where will the mother keep her child? Very close. Now, the child will have similarity to that of Mother Earth. That is why of all the planets that we know in our system or any other system, the great and researching astronauts and people who work in allied areas will want to send their search engines or satellites only to Mars to check if it can sustain life. Because if we are checking if Earth gets filled, where will we go? So we have to find another place. So we are checking if Mars can support life. Does it have water like Earth? Does it have oxygen in its atmosphere like Earth? Does it have the gravitational pull like Earth? Does it have hills and mountains like Earth? So we are checking if there are similarities. Though I do not have complete knowledge about what is the percentage of similarity, we are still finding. Why? Because we are finding something which is very close to Earth, which will be like her. So it is treated as the son of Mother Earth. Mangalavaram Bhumi Kumaram. So where will she send, where will the mother child send her child to? She will send her to a good teacher. Who is a teacher? Guru. Who is Guru? Brihaspati. Who is Brihaspati? Jupiter. So after Mars, we have Jupiter. So the mother earth sends her son Mars to Jupiter. Now, when we tell children, we have to tell them in an interesting fashion, but we don't have to tell literally like a mother carrying the child. Earth would have carried Mars within her amniotic sac for months. What we see is a beautiful fraternity, a relationship of us with the ecosystem. So how do we relate ourselves? So we say Vayu Deva. In Sanatana Dharma, every entity is treated as a Devata. So we just don't see him as air. We see him as a deity who rules air. Vayu Devata. We don't see that as fire. We see Agni Devata. So we respect every entity so much so that we treat fire as a witness for our marriage and the Antyeshti. We treat Vayu so important that we treat Hanuman
Sorry, I'm assuming that again there is a challenge. Just 1 second. Yes, definitely. So devotees, I think there is. Yeah. Go ahead, Dushanji.
So, to all my dear friends who are taking part in this lecture, because of some connectivity issue, I won't be able to join you further. I'll conclude this question, the answer to this question. So, while explaining to children, while they come up with questions which are interesting, like how do we assume or
Absolutely. Thank you so very much, Dushanji, for clarifying all our doubts and for enthralling us today with giving us a very deeper and a different understanding of Mahalakshmi and how much she has an influence on all of us. To all our viewers, I would like to once again thank you so much. Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you. There were still more questions, but I think due to paucity of time, we may not be able to cover all of them. But once again, I would like to conclude on behalf of Shri Raghavendra Swamy Prarthana Mandir. I would like to sincerely thank Shri Dushyant Sridhar ji for a very, very beautiful lecture for all of us today. Thank you, Dushyant ji, and have a very good evening, everybody. Om Shri Raghavendraya Namaha.